Emotion coaching. You've heard of it. Maybe you haven't. Maybe just those two words together is something new to you. Today, we're going to talk about, maybe you haven't, what is emotion coaching, when to use it with children, and when not to. Hi, I'm Vanessa Callahan. For those of you who haven't met me before, I am the lead coach at Raising Our Resilience, and I'm here to help parents boost their resilience so that they can also pass on tools that help you help your children have more resilience to cope with the challenges of growing up, challenges of the pandemic, the challenges of everything that is ahead for us as a society, as a people. So here we go. What is emotion coaching? Emotion coaching is when you are like the guide on the side, going alongside your children, helping them to make sense of a big emotion or any emotion, but especially with those big emotions as they are experiencing them. And when we emotion coach our children or even ourselves, we're actually providing a calm perspective on what they're experiencing. And by guiding them through that experience, oftentimes we're able to get calmer quicker, make sense of the experience, just make decisions about what we're going to do based on what we've learned from that emotion coming up. Is it something we need to address, something we need to let go of, etc. Emotion coach children, by the way, the research has shown through John Gottman and his associates and several others that when children can report that they were emotion coached as children and they're now adults, they can look back and they see things like they have greater life satisfaction, better friendships growing up and as an adult, more resilience to adolescent pressures of risky behavior, as well as less likely to have anxiety and depression in adolescence. So emotion coaching is something that can, in my mind, create a lot of resilience for children to be able to cope. Imagine your child is about to take a really difficult test at school and they have stress about it and some fear and some anxiety is coming up, and they are able to coach themselves emotionally through that emotion by talking to themselves, by noticing where it's in their body, and releasing that tension or moving through those thoughts, getting to a better place where they feel resourced and ready. And then they go ahead and take that test anyways, and they're able to perform on it from this perspective of agency and empowerment around being able to manage how they're feeling. Of course, that would lead to things like also academic achievement, getting into the college of your choice. These have all been linked with emotion coaching. It is sort of the hidden skill or superpower that I think we all intuitively can relate to it making sense, but we don't necessarily put it together logically right away. Like if I emotion coach my child, they'll have a better life outcomes in all the ways, not just in being a more emotionally intelligent person, but actually being a better person to work with and having healthy relationships, et cetera, right? Getting into the colleges that they want to because they've been able to persist through difficult emotions. So this is why we do want to emotion coach our kids. A few tips and also a way to get a cheat sheet from me around it, I'll share in a moment. But a few tips I want to start with are the more younger the kid is, or the more upset the child is. So kind of the younger the state is, right? So our brains develop over time, right? With life experience, as we know, children are constantly learning, they're constantly growing, stacking in those life experiences, learning skills, et cetera. That part of the brain is either underdeveloped because they're young and or not accessible because of the emotion being such a strong emotion and the brain activity changing. And so oftentimes with emotion coaching, what you need to know is that you're helping the child by lending your perspective and your calmer, hopefully cognitive abilities to make sense of what's happening with them or to them, because they are in a young state. Their younger part of the brain, the brainstem and the amygdala and the alarm center and everything are really much more in charge when an emotion is running the show. So if you can think of it as lending your nervous system, like lending your perspective, lending your calm lens, to them, so to engage that part of the brain to help it also start to come back online. And like we say, put the lid back on, we can get back connected with our kids. Now, How many of you have tried to emotion coach your child and it backfired and made it worse? They got more angry at you. They rejected your, like you maybe said, wow, honey, you look really upset. And they're like, I'm not upset. Okay. Please put just me in the chat or comments so I know that, you've had this experience, say me, and maybe let me know the age of your child. That'd be really helpful. So look like this. I'd be like me, I have an 8-year-old in my household. She really doesn't like it sometimes when we tell her that we see that she's frustrated. It's actually kind of triggering for her. She doesn't want to hear, wow, honey, you look really frustrated right now. She's just not happy with that. Maybe for you, it's another one. So if you can tell me that, yes, me, that's happened where emotion coaching has backfired or it doesn't seem to be working, please put it in the chat so I know that you're with me. Also, the age of the child that is in your world, and I can support you with even more today. I see Shalini's here. Hi, Shalini, on Zoom, and I have somebody here on Facebook. You can pop me into the comments. That will help me on Instagram. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Just say me. Let me know how old your kid is, a child that is in your world. Because what I want you to know is that there are some do's and don'ts around emotion coaching. And I'm going to go over a couple of those. But first, I want to just get back to the tips on emotion coaching. So yes, what we're doing, you need to understand what the purpose of it is. It's to help kind of lend them a calm perspective, to help them move through their emotions. Yes. And so if you understand that, then you're more likely to have success. So just really embracing the role. It is not to get your kid to calm down as soon as possible or to stop them from crying, like making it happen. It's also not to convince them that they shouldn't be upset. Those are some of the things that can really backfire. It is, though, to help them make sense of what's happening. And so what you should know is that there are many parts to emotion coaching, and certain types of situations and certain moments and certain situations will require different parts of the emotion coaching. So you might find yourself trying to name an emotion for your child, and what they really need is for you to help them notice that their fists are clenched and they're tight and they're red in the cheeks, and they should probably do something to release some of that energy. Other times they are being very verbal and they're talking it through, and you are trying to help them find the words to describe their experience, which can be really helpful and very validating. Other times they really need you to just go straight to whatever tool is a go-to for them on helping them calm themselves down, that has been reliable in the past and they're familiar with and you've practiced. All of these you can hear, are there some other skills related to emotion coaching that I love building up in parents, by the way, and teachers, and being able to do these things like decide, right? Am I going more verbal here and naming the emotion? Are we going to help them move and kind of soothe themselves that way? Or are we going to go to a completely different tool that my child has already practiced with me? Really good high level stuff that I love to do with parents. So if you hear something in that stands out to you, just like put it in the chat, right? So I think like what I would like you to take away too, and please add on to this. This is a collaborative, I have a collaborative approach with anybody who attends and my clients as well. Tell me what stands out to you. But to me, it's like the most important thing you can know about emotion coaching is that there are many ways to do it, and there are many different steps to it. And you don't have to do it as a script from top to bottom, right? Like you don't have to like force through all the steps of naming the emotion and acknowledging how what's happening in the body and picking a way to release it, and checking in afterward and like declaring that you're ready for the next thing and making or ready for the conversation to work it out. In a perfect world, in a perfect moment, we get to do all of them. But I want you to start acknowledging that any of those steps counts as emotion coaching. A lot of us can get hung up on making sure all the steps happen. And that's where we're going to get into the don'ts. So what the opposite of what I'm advising is when you are forcing through a process that's not landing well with your child, and you're not taking a moment to adapt to what is like the feedback they're giving you. And so you're either pushing through or you're giving up on the tool entirely. I've definitely had parents being like, nope, my kid doesn't like emotion coaching. I was like, okay, tell me what actually happened. And what typically is the case is it's not emotion coaching that was the issue in general. It was that it was a mismatch. Like this child does not want you to say how they feel. They actually want the chance to express their feelings another way besides naming the emotion. And if you can stick with that and just realize you're still there to like guide them through it and help them, then that's one really important thing that you want to hold on to from this tip. Okay. Next one is, please don't pick a fight with a feeling. Like if a child says, I'm not upset, like don't tell them they're upset. Don't pick a fight with whatever this emotion is. Like don't make it wrong that they're sad or wrong that they're scared or wrong that they're angry. All of those emotions, by the way, can be very triggering for us. And so we can sometimes want to immediately fix it, like make it go away. Don't cry because we're upset from hearing them cry. Or don't get mad with me because anger is like, it's really hard for us to handle. So we have to also be honest with like, are we down with all the emotions? And this is something I also love doing with my families. I do this with the Emotional Mastery Weekend with my immersion members, for example. We do a year-long program and we go deep on emotional mastery for 3 days. And one of the things that we do in that virtual retreat is we really break down like the steps of an emotional episode. And we also say, what do I have on being sad? Like, am I actually okay being in the presence of my child being sad? Like, can I accept that emotion? Or do I immediately kind of kick into autopilot of making it go away or wanting to fight it? So really like, don't pick a fight with a feeling and get down to the bottom of your own stuff that might compel you to fight with a feeling. Really important. Okay. So please don't pick a fight for the feeling, and especially for the reason that you're triggered and that reason alone. It's not fair to the kid. And it's also not productive because feelings want to be heard and felt and seen and recognized, and they don't want to be told they're wrong. And so you could actually exasperate the situation. I've 100% seen children double down on their anger because I told them that it was wrong to be angry in some way, whether it was by like trying to convince them, don't be angry about this. It's not such a big deal. It can just make it worse. It's like fuel to the fire. So if you can, this is back to the do's, pick one thing that makes sense about why they're feeling this way and help them see that you can understand that it's not completely unreasonable that they're having an emotion. Because really, emotions show up as a response to the situation. And it's usually automatic, and it's usually not chosen, and it's usually here for some reason. There's a reason. It's rarely completely random. And so if we can find just one thing that makes sense, here's an example. Oh, it makes sense you're frustrated, right after, let's say a kid hits their sibling and you're trying to help them calm down. And you're emotion coaching and you're trying to say, oh, were you frustrated with your sibling? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, we're not going to go to the naming part. But immediately validate. Okay, well, it makes sense that you would get upset with your sister. Like maybe they don't want to hear frustrated, right? It makes sense that you would get upset that somebody, because your sister like didn't listen to you. You were like giving them, many chances to stop touching your stuff, and they ultimately didn't listen, and you lost it. Like I can see how you might get there. And it can absolutely transform the interaction for that child to just have a moment of being seen and heard. You can't always follow up, and I recommend you do. And it's not okay for you to hit your sister. And I'm going to go see if she's okay. I'll come back. And I'm really, committed to helping you solve this problem in a peaceful way. You can leave and come back. So yeah, what are you hearing here? And this looks like Shalini might have a question. Shalini, you could pop it into the chat, your hands up. And we have a couple more minutes left. So I'm really glad you're getting it in before we finish up. So emotion coaching, right? What is it? We're guiding our kids through their emotional experiences. We're helping them to name and identify their feelings. We're helping them to identify how their body is, kind of experiencing this emotion. We're helping them identify what they can do to cope with that feeling coming up and put their lids back on. What you want to do is you want to find a way to validate it, find a way to get on their side, find a way to help them calm down so they can make sense of what happened, and then really be there for them in that step too. What we don't want to do is we don't want to get stuck on the script that there's only one way to emotion coach and you have to get through all the steps. You don't want to pick a fight with a feeling ever if you can avoid it. And you want to address your own triggers that come up when your kids have certain emotions. And I will tell you that every family has one of the three main harder emotions, sadness, fear, and anger, that somebody in the household has a hard time with. And if you don't address it, it's going to be one of the ones that your kid is also going to have the hardest time navigating. So get to the bottom of that. do it, do the work. And I would love for you to do it with me and with my amazing team of coaches. And we have a free event coming up I want you to know about. So tomorrow evening, we have a masterclass called The 3 Keys to Lasting Calm. And it's a great opportunity for you to learn some proven ways to create lasting calm. We're going to review what we just did in our 3-part series over 3 days, so that you can get a quick rundown of 6 quick strategies that really work for kids and adults in the moment to put your lids back on and calm down. After we do that, we're also going to share proven motivation hacks and insights that will help you to create lasting calm. So it's not just about coaching and getting the lids back on in the moment. It's also like, how do we build in resilience for all the years and moments to come and create that lasting calm so that the whole family gets to have a calmer and more peaceful experience of family life. And so that is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific. And all you need to do, friends, to join that is to come over to our Raising Our Resilience Facebook group if you haven't yet, or you can register, and I'll be sure to put that into the link of all the different places that this is popping up. Shalini, who's in Zoom, you're already registered because you registered for the Calm Parent Switch. So you'll already be getting all the Zoom links and everything coming to you today and tomorrow to be able to join. All right, y'all. So yeah, 3 keys to lasting calm. We'd love to have you there. I'm going to be teaching it with my my co-facilitator, Dr. Luz Casquejo Johnson, super talented, keeping it real mama, and parent empowerment coach as well. So we want you there. The other thing you can do is, if you really want, my cheat sheet for the emotional mastery coaching, to be able to have a script that you can pull from, not follow as law, okay? But it's just for you to practice and get used to what those steps are. And then you can pick and choose which ones seem to fit the situation. We want you to get familiar with it first. I would really highly encourage you to take the Parenting Strengths quiz, because once we have your results of the Parenting Strengths quiz, which is another link I can share as well, you'll be able to then also let us know if you would like us to send you the emotion coaching cheat sheet as a resource for carrying forward what you learned from the Parenting Strengths quiz. You'll also have an opportunity, if there's room on the calendar, to book a coaching session, a 30-minute complimentary coaching session. So you can, excuse me, put yourself through a little mini package of steps here, a little mini process of take the quiz, identify your strengths and your goals. Go ahead and say yes to the box where it says, do you want the emotion coaching cheat sheet? Come to our masterclass, and there'll be a special invitation to book a complimentary session for those who attend. So you want to come this evening, or sorry, tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. We'll want you there. Shalini says yes. I had some likes and thumbs up over here on Facebook, which is great. Good to have you. Let us know who you are, and then by just dropping a comment. If you're here on Instagram, consider following Raising Our Resilience so you can kind of get some more of these tips. And also, I'll be putting a link in my bio for how to register for the masterclass and take the Parenting Strengths quiz. So we'll be happy to see you there. All right, y'all. That's it for our Monday Mindset today. So glad that we're able to support you in your resilience boosting efforts. Emotion coaching don't make it a bad word. It's something really possible and positive. And even if you've never done it before, it's never too late to start. And even if you've done it before and it didn't work, let's get you figuring that out and taking next steps. So let us know what you got out of this. We love takeaways in the comments and chat. It helps all of us to learn more and better from these Monday Mindsets. And we'll see you soon. All right, take care, everybody, on Instagram. Bye for now. And see you later in the Facebook group. Drop a comment so we know what's happening with you. And here on Zoom, we'll have a chance to, connect in the comments if you like, as I wrap up here. Lots of love to everybody. Bye for now.